Is 0.3% GDP growth a win for Britain or a red flag? In this video, we dive into Rachel Reeves' exclusive interview on the UK economy. We'll also explore how the principle of reflective leadership could change how leaders make economic decisions. Before we get into the details, if you love diving into political issues and enjoy hearing a principled take on them, then hit the like button, share this video, and subscribe to join the conversation. It will help our channel reach a wider audience.
We are the fastest growing economy in the G7 for the first half of this year, with a GDP growth of 0.3% this quarter, and that's after GDP growth of 0.7% the quarter before that. Look, I recognise there's still more to do to make sure that people in all parts of the country benefit from that growth. But since the general election, when I became Chancellor, the economy has grown by 1.2%, and GDP per capita, so for every person in the country, GDP per capita is up by 0.7%. So encouraging numbers today, but of course we need to build on that to make sure people in all parts of the country are better off.
And so what difference will working people feel after a 0.3% rise in GDP? Are your policies delivering the speed of growth the UK needs?
Well, growth was broad-based in the first half of this year, with increases in manufacturing, in services, the biggest part of our economy, and also in construction as well, reflecting this government's focus on getting Britain building again. So the numbers are welcome, and importantly, GDP per person is also up. So that means more money in the pockets of working people. But I recognise we're just a year into this government. There is more to do to ensure that working people in all parts of Britain are better off. But these numbers show that our economy is growing. We are producing more, and that's good for living standards and good for businesses across our country as well.
And there have been reports that you're considering plans to tighten rules around inheritance tax. Are we going to see that in the autumn budget? Are you concerned that this is just going to further alienate voters?
Well, look, any decision around taxation is, of course, a decision for the budget, and I'll make those announcements. We haven't even set the date yet for the budget. But the key focus in the budget is going to be to build on the numbers that we've seen today, to boost productivity and growth and prosperity all across the country. That is my number one priority as Chancellor, to get our economy firing on all cylinders so that working people in all parts of the country can feel the benefits of that economic growth. We'll wait for the official forecasts from the Office of Budget Responsibility, and we'll make those decisions in the round. But what the numbers today show is that the economy, after 14 years of weak and anemic growth, that we are getting back on our feet. The economy has been stuck for too long. We're trying to get it out of the rut of the last 14 years with anemic growth, poor productivity, and living standards going backwards. Today's numbers are positive, but absolutely there's more to do to ensure that working people right across our country are better off.
So we're on a construction site here. Construction services have grown, but production has fallen, with some citing the national insurance rise and minimum wage impact on business. What's your response?
Well, the largest part of the economy, of course, is services, which includes hospitality and retail, and that's grown pretty robustly in the first half of this year. Construction also up, which is very welcome. This government has an ambition to build 1.5 million homes in this parliament, as well as new investment in energy and digital and transport. And manufacturing also, crucially, was up in the second quarter of this year. And again, that was broadly based across the economy. So these numbers are welcome, but they are a building block, and we want to do more, because I do recognise that not everyone is feeling better off, that it's been a tough few years, and it's going to take more than a couple of quarters of positive GDP to turn that around. But things are moving in the right direction. We've had 5 interest rate cuts. Inflation is well off the peaks that we saw under the previous Conservative government, and the numbers today show that GDP, but crucially GDP per person, are both on the up.
Rachel Reeves is boasting that the UK's 0.3 GDP growth in the second quarter of 2025 makes it the fastest growing economy in the G7, claiming that it's putting more money in the people's pockets. Meanwhile, the US economy surged by 3% in the same quarter, according to Bloomberg Television. That's 10 times the UK growth. Boasting about 0.3% is like getting 30% on a school test and celebrating because your classmates scored 20% or worse. If you took that grade home, your parents wouldn't be proud or throw you a party. They wouldn't be pleased with the school either. They would wonder what the school has been teaching you. I'm not sure whose pockets are being lined with this growth, but it's definitely not helping those in the working class who Reeves and Labour call working people and claim they should be happy. They're crushed by skyrocketing living costs, shrinking wages, job losses, and energy bills that feels like a punch in the gut. How can 0.3% growth make them happy when it's barely a dent? Why benchmark against the G7, a group of economies going nowhere, when the US, with its 3% growth, shows what's possible? This is where the principle of reflective leadership comes in. Strong leaders don't spin failure. They pause, reassess, and ask, who is doing better? Or what changes can be done? If 0.3% is your best, it's time to learn from success. Reflective leadership means looking at what works, like President Trump and his team in the US, who's driven 3% growth with tax cuts and investment incentives. Imagine if the UK embraced that approach. Lower taxes could spark business growth, create jobs, and put real money in the pockets of the hard-working people. Investment incentives could draw companies to Britain, boosting communities and easing the cost of living squeeze. Rachel Reeves and the Labour government need to face facts. Sticking with the same old policies will keep delivering failing grades, but reflective leadership offers hope. Learning from what works, you could guide Britain to a thriving economy with better jobs and brighter futures for the British people. Don't dig in deeper, going further and faster into economic decline. Pivot towards growth. Britain deserves an A-grade economy. If you have benefited in any way from this video, please subscribe, like, share, and be sure to leave us a comment.